Hello, everyone. We are back with another client success story. Why don't we just jump right in? Why don't you tell me who you are and how we know each other?
Okay. Hi, my name is Rhiannon. We know each other, I think, from our days at Lululemon back in the
Mhm,
day. I do believe that was the first time we met. And
mhm.
then I followed your journey afterwards, followed you online, and then at a certain point reached out
Yeah,
for coaching. Mhm.
awesome. Okay. And do you remember what year that was?
When I reached out to you,
Yeah, like when we started
um,
working together.
it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
That is
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. Okay, so why don't you walk me through what life was looking like before you reached out to me in terms of your relationship with alcohol?
Oh gosh, that gives me anxiety just thinking about it. Life was very stressful.
Yeah.
My nights looked like um, falling asleep, but drinking so much that I to help myself fall asleep, but waking up around 3 a.m. with crippling anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, so just that daily, nightly sort of anxiety waking me up. um, Stressful days, very little, like a very short fuse on all things.
Mhm.
And then working really hard. I mean, I've always have worked really hard, shown up despite
Mhm.
what the previous night looked like.
Mhm.
But then just making it through till 5 o'clock, getting home, making dinner for the kids, drinking the first bottle of wine, putting the kids down, drinking the second bottle of wine,
Mhm.
rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like it was like pretty habituated. It was disrupting your sleep. It was causing like a short fuse, took up a lot of headspace in your life, spending a lot of time thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Um,
Oh,
had you
absolutely.
oh yeah, yeah. Had you tried to quit drinking before?
Yes, I think it was 2013. No, maybe 15. I stopped for a year
Mhm.
and that went well. And I can't even recall why I started again,
Yeah,
but I did.
yeah.
I had also tried previous to that with an online group. I forget the name of the organization, but that wasn't successful. So I had
Mhm.
definitely tried before, and I had
Mhm.
definitely known that it was something I should do before,
Yeah.
and was successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was it that prompted you to reach out to me? Like, was there a really bad night, or were you just kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, or what was it that
Yeah,
prompted the initial conversation?
yeah. So it was. I'm pretty sure I reached out on April 7th, because I stopped on April 8th, and you were doing a 5 a.m. club thing
Mhm.
and on Instagram. And I generally get up at, well, I'm generally up at 3 at that time, but I was generally
Mhm.
out of bed at 5 and scrolling, and I was following you, and I had just turned 40. So I had my 40th birthday, March 31st. It was a big night and it kind of
Yeah.
continued for a few days. And I was like, this is not sustainable. I want to feel
Yeah.
good in my 40s
Yeah.
and 50s. And I did not feel good. And
Yeah.
it was early in the morning. And I remember when I wrote you the message, it was still dark outside. And I was like, something's got to give. I
Yeah.
need help.
Yeah. 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 Um, so do you remember? Because I think for a lot of women, the idea of like reaching out and asking for help can feel like a huge barrier. And I think there's this
Mhm.
expectation sometimes that we should just like know how to solve it and we should just know the right things that we need to sort of get sober and stay sober. Did you experience any kind of barrier in asking for help?
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I think I was like feeling defeated. I was feeling helpless and
Mhm.
just a little bit of desperation. I knew I
Mhm.
wanted to change. I knew um, anytime anyone asked me, like, what would make the biggest difference in your life or what goal do you have? Like, I wouldn't even say it out loud. I just knew like that would make the biggest difference in every area of my life.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think I was feeling a little bit defeated. I think I was worried to say it out loud that I needed help, worried that people would know. Um, yeah, I really didn't want anyone to know. I really wanted it to
Yeah.
be confidential at the time,
Yeah.
just you and me, didn't want to say it
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
was very concerned at the time of tips and tricks that no one would know that I wasn't drinking when I was out and about,
Yeah.
which feels very different now, but I remember feeling a lot of shame at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I can really relate to that. Um, okay, so that was 6 years ago. And fast forward to Monday, June 9th, 2025. So you've been sober now for more than 6 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations again
Thank
on that.
you.
What does life look like? Where are you now?
I was just looking at my little clock I have. It's 2,254 days, which is like so wild. So, so,
Amazing.
so wild.
Amazing.
And um, life feels so much better in every single way. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, like you said before, just never thinking about alcohol. And it was once everything I thought about, whether it was, how can I stop or how many will I have tonight? How much is acceptable? Or how can I modify like Monday to Friday and then, only drink on the weekend? Whatever. It was literally,
Mhm.
it took up all my brain space, all
Yeah.
my free brain space that I wasn't doing at working or the kids. And now I never, 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 never think about it. And people have asked me if I miss it.
Mhm.
I absolutely don't.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I don't think about it. And other people have asked me if it bothers me when they drink
Mhm.
around me. Absolutely doesn't. It's almost as if I don't see it as a something to consume anymore. Like I don't see it as a
Yeah.
food. It just is nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never thought that would be possible. I always
Yeah.
thought I'd be sort of taking it day by day and like white knuckling, not drinking when I'm out. And I literally just don't want it one bit, which feels
Yeah.
so freeing. Like free
Yeah.
is the word that sums it up. I feel so
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you, like, how does it feel to have, the space back and the, time back and the not feeling the pull to it and not feeling like you're missing out. And I love that you said free. And I feel like I have a similar experience too. Like, it's just like, it's irrelevant in my life. I don't think about consuming it. I don't miss it. I don't long for it. So I love that.
Mhm.
And I'm so thrilled that this is where you are, that you're totally free of this thing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so what in your life, and maybe this is hard to gauge because it's been such a long time, but like, what in your life feels possible now that you are free and you have your time back and all of that, that maybe didn't feel possible when we first started working together?
Hmm. Um, clarity, like, I mean, clarity with it's not hard to think about because I'm still grateful for it every day. That's my dog. Sorry.
That's okay.
Might have to kick him out. We'll see.
All good.
Um, high alert over there. Um, I still wake up feeling very grateful to you. And I know I sometimes send you random text messages because, yeah, so much that clarity is so wonderful to just
Mhm.
wake up feeling good, number one.
Yeah.
Um, Presence feels possible, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that too. It chokes me up because as much as I've always been like loved being a mom and I was with my kids. We had dance parties in the kitchen. We had a lot of fun. If you know, ask them. I was around, and we were doing things, but I wasn't present. And
Yeah.
it's a different type of relationship that I have with them now. And I know my older two, who are 18 and 16, have have voiced, not in a judgmental sense, but just that my younger one has had such a different parent.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that that chokes me up a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm present with them now, and it's been 6 years that I've been able to be present with them
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
reliability, I feel more reliable, and that
Yeah.
feels good.
Yeah.
Reliable for myself. I remember there was um, at one point you asked me, I don't even know if you remember, but if I could trust myself, like, and I was
Mm.
like, absolutely not. Like, I am the
Yeah.
last person I trust. I
Yeah.
make my promises to myself every day, and
Hmm.
probably to others as well. And
Hmm.
I knowing that I can trust myself is one of the best gifts, and also knowing
Hmm.
that my kids can trust me, people can trust me,
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a well, first of all, thank you for sharing those things. And I'm just again like so thrilled. And I vaguely do remember that conversation about like trusting yourself and like do you keep your promises to yourself? Are you able to show up for yourself? And I think it's a really common experience, especially in the beginning, that the answer is no. And that was certainly true for me. Um, and so I'm just so thrilled to hear that you're somebody that you can count on and somebody that other people in your life feel like they can count on too, who's like fully there, fully present, and like grateful for it all. That's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love that. Um, do you remember um, the sort of main areas that we worked on together? So that might be things like building confidence, self-trust, habits, regulating your nervous system or your emotions, like any of those types of things. Do you remember the things that we worked on that were most impactful for you?
Mm-hmm. I remember uh, one of the things I remember very clearly was that we barely talked about alcohol. Like there was so many other things that were important to discuss.
Yeah,
Um, Developing different coping mechanisms. I hadn't realized, how I hadn't really created any other coping mechanisms.
yeah.
So I know I remember finding those with you, and I remember running a lot at the beginning, and just
Mhm.
you telling me that it was okay to just, go. You were going to feel like you needed to go. And I remember some nights making dinner and just saying to my husband, like, I got to go on a run. Be like, now? And I'm like, yep, you're going to take
Yeah,
over. And he was like, when are you going to be back? I'm like, I don't know, but
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. And so developing those um, different coping mechanisms, and then also the alliances. Like my husband was hugely supportive, letting me navigate and find those things that were going to help and giving me the space to do those things. So
Mhm.
very grateful for that as well. We talked a lot about preparation, mental preparation for things. We were going into summer, so it was April, and then it was like leading into summer. So there was going to be
Yeah,
a lot of barbecues, a lot of parties, a lot of poolside things, festivals, and we just talked a lot about game plans going into those
yeah, yeah,
situations, those
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Um, and I remember the game plans, how good they made me feel, but then I also remember how good I felt in the moment, and how
Mhm.
afterwards I'd communicate with you and just be like, it was even better than I had expected to experience whatever it was, that concert, that thing, sober.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
So I think each new thing that I prepared for and then did, and then got that positive feedback at how great it felt, it just became
Mhm.
easier and easier. But a lot of
Yeah.
preparation, and then we talked a lot about because at that time I wasn't comfortable telling people that I wasn't drinking. So we talked a lot
Hmm.
about how to navigate those conversations, or how to have mocktails, and
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Um, so how important, kind of going back to what you were just saying about the preparation and like things coming up and all of that, and even thinking about, how you were trying to get sober before versus how we went about it.
Mhm.
How important to you does it feel to have a plan to get sober?
So important. It was like night and day. I've told lots of people, and I will say it here for whoever's watching, having a coach is the best, the best thing. Well, for me, it was the absolute best thing. It was the thing that made the difference. Having someone in my corner
Mhm.
who understood. I mean, you were so
Mhm.
vulnerable sharing your story. So, like, understood what I was going through,
Yeah.
um, and had no judgment
Mhm.
and really just believed that I wasn't broken and that, you know, we all have our reasons that this became our coping mechanism for one reason or
Mhm.
another. And
Yeah.
we all have something that we're looking to um, make easier, some
Mhm.
feelings, whatever.
Mhm.
And you were just so compassionate and just like, I just felt, even though it was over Zoom, we were far away, that you were
Mhm.
just always there holding my hand through each situation. You were also super accessible if there
Mhm.
was ever something that came up um, between our time together that I needed to talk out. And yeah, those things made the difference. The non-judgmental space, the your vulnerability, um, the plan, someone holding my hand, metaphorically.
Mhm.
Those were the things because
Yeah.
the group I was with before, it was an online platform and there was structures set up to create that.
Mhm.
But it's different when there's someone
Yeah.
focused on you. So, and
Yeah.
I just having you focus on me, check in on me from time to time, that was just different.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. And I've had other clients who have also been in like pretty large kind of group spaces. And it's like they'd show up to a call. And, I think those larger platforms are great in a lot of ways because they can offer more. But like they'd show up to a call and there'd be like 200 people on the call. And like nobody knew that they were there. They didn't really get to share or connect or you know, have that space to sort of move through some of their own stuff. So yeah, I completely hear what you're saying. I think there's benefits to groups as well, but also maybe not that big. Yeah, cool. Okay, so when the time came and we were talking about potentially working together, was there anything that almost prevented you from jumping in with me?
I mean, money was a factor. I was just
Mhm.
like, okay. And in retrospect, it's like investing. Again, I think the block was actually the lack of trust I had in myself is like, is
Yeah.
this going to be a waste of money? Like other things
Right.
I've wasted money on.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but if I could tell and other people, what I've told other friends when I've recommended you is just like, you won't be sorry to invest in yourself
Yeah.
and have the type of support that you need to make it
Hmm.
be a worthwhile
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, do you remember what made you pull the trigger in working together?
I don't I I don't think there was any one thing other than just I was like, it's been 40 years and I want my next 40 to feel better.
Yeah.
It was the age
Yeah.
milestone that it was like
Yeah.
the milestone for me that I was like, it's now. Like it has to be
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. I totally get that. Um, and I know you sort of just spoke to this in terms of, folks that you've recommended me to, and thank
Mhm.
you for that. But yeah, what would you honestly say to somebody who is thinking about working with me?
I would I always say just do it. Just you have no
Yeah.
idea how good life can possibly feel. when you're not putting a depressant in your body, like everything seems so clear now.
Yeah.
And I try so hard to not get too excited for people because
Yeah.
it just feels so much better. Everything feels so much better.
Yeah.
And I wonder often how life could have looked had I done it earlier, and no regrets. It came at the time it came.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, yeah, the every moment, it's just like I very, very clearly remember telling you that I couldn't access joy in anything.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that was like a clincher that made me want to do it, is like there's things that are clearly joyful experiences
Yeah.
that I can't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
And that was really concerning. And like
Hmm.
I knew logically how much I loved people and
Yeah.
my family, and
Yeah.
but then I couldn't like get there.
Yeah.
And to not only have that, but to feel joy in the simplest of things, that I
Um,
was like I couldn't appreciate. And everything, I
yeah.
just feel like I appreciate everything.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's the thing about alcohol, right? Like you can't selectively numb. And so it kind of just throws like a pretty uh heavy blanket on top of all of our feelings. So it makes sense that you weren't able to access it in the ways that you once were. And I love that that's available to you now. And I also love that you are present enough to catch like the glimmers or the smaller moments of joy that, might have passed you by in previous years. Like, what a beautiful gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes,
love that.
absolutely.
Um, is there anything else you would like to add that we haven't talked about, or anything else that feels like it needs to come out?
No, I just have so much gratitude, and how present you've stayed afterwards. Um, congratulations every year that passes on my soberversary. Like it's meaningful, and it's something that I've really tried to bring into my own life when I know that others have a day that they celebrate. Just how nice it feels to be acknowledged on that
Mm,
day. So I just have a lot of gratitude for you. Um,
mm.
and who you are as a coach and as a person. And yeah, changing lives, no big deal.
Well, thank you. And thank you for, your willingness to have this conversation and to share these parts of your journey with other people. And I think that you know this, but I of course have lots of gratitude for you as well, but you are like extra special for lots of reasons, but also because you were my very first sober client.
Oh,
And, like if not for you saying yes to me and trusting me to support you in this journey, who knows? Like, and so, it's really special to have this conversation and to really reflect back over the years. And I'm just, I feel so honored and so privileged that I got to, walk beside you for those few months, and, really kind of see how you can flourish and see how you have flourished, and created all of this massive change in your life that's just rippled out, over every area of your life. So I have a lot of gratitude for you. So thank you. And thank you for sharing this again. Yeah, I know that this conversation is going to land so powerfully with so many people.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
just hope hope for everyone to be able to um, yeah, find the peace and know that they have the ability.
Yeah. 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 Oh, that's beautiful. Well, they absolutely do, just like you did. And I think that that's a great note to end this on. So thank you again. I'm really grateful for you. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to stop the recording.